You are watching Fugitive Red-Eye, and welcome to another DVD collection video. I've already showed my Red Dwarf collection in a couple other videos, so this is just going to be all of my British comedy collection. My Red Dwarf collection I have here, this is series 1 through 8. There's the side of the box, and the back of the box. Here's Back to Earth, which has retroactively been called the 9th series of Red Dwarf. There's the back of the case, and the discs. Here we have series 10. There's the back of the case, disc 1. And disc 2. Here we have Blackadder, the complete collection. This is not the remastered version, because this is the version that was out when I got it. Blackadder, if you don't know a lot about it, is a historical comedy, each season taking place in a different historical period. And one thing I do want to mention is I don't think the first season gets enough credit, and I think a lot of people dismiss it far too quickly. It's not as witty as seasons 2 and up, but I actually prefer some things about it. I'm actually doing a video about that hopefully later this week if it's not up before this one. But here we get little episode descriptions for all 4 seasons, as well as the final special there. This includes all 3 specials as well, but it only gives you the synopsis for the one. Here are the discs, and the back of the case. Here we have the Monty Python movies. Here's Life of Brian. There's the Holy Grail. And here we have Meaning of Life. It came in a triple pack with Big Lebowski and American Pie, but it's pretty good. Meaning of Life is my favorite of the Monty Python movies just because it's more similar to Flying Circus in its sketch nature. Here we have Monty Python's Flying Circus Set 1, which contains DVD 1 and 2. There's the back there with a list of episodes. Here we have Set 2, which contains DVDs 3 and 4. And there's the back. Now, for whatever ass-backwards reason, I don't seem to have 3 or 4, which I thought I did, but I guess not. But here's Set 5. There's the back of it. Here's Set 6. And once again, the back of the case. Here's Set 7, and there's the back. Here we have Monty Python Live, which contains Monty Python Live at the Hollywood Bowl and Live from Aspen, as well as it also has the first episode of Fleegender Circus, I think. It either has the first or the second. I know I have both, because the next set also has one of them. There's the back of the case. And upon reading it, yes, it is the first episode of Fleegender Circus, which is on this one. Here we have Life of Python, which has like a documentary about them, as well as it has a 30th anniversary special with new sketches. And, of course, the final episode, or the second episode of Fleegender Circus, which there were only 2 of anyway. And there's the back of the box. There's Monty Python Live Mostly, which is their newest and final recorded special that they did at the O2 Center in London. I really wish I had actually been able to go see it myself, because some of the showings had, like, Stephen Fry and stuff, but that's not on this set, unfortunately. This only contains the recorded version, which was, like, the final day. Here we have a strange bootleg of the entire Flying Circus that I picked up at FYE because I was curious to see whether it was real or not. But as far as I can tell, it's a bootleg. It's got the Chinese lettering underneath it, and it does contain every episode, although some of them skip or have issues. From what I can tell, they just kind of ripped off the A&E releases and just kind of sold illegitimate copies of them, from what I can tell. See, here's the interior of the case, which, right there, this should tell you right away it's a bootleg. And there's the back of the case. I really do need to get 3 and 4, so that I have all the episodes officially and working properly, because like I said, this doesn't work 100%. But the disc design, they actually decided to go for the case designs rather than the actual disc designs for the A&E releases. And here I have Fawlty Towers Remastered, the complete collection. If you haven't seen Fawlty Towers and you're a fan of Monty Python, I highly recommend checking it out, because it's starring and written by John Cleese and Connie Booth. There's the back of the case, there's the interior of the case, and the interior of the interior, the back of the interior. Here's a little booklet that comes with it that gives you some nice insight into how they created Fawlty Towers. It's actually a very funny story. Apparently John Cleese and Connie Booth were at this hotel with the rest of the Pythons, and there was this terrible hotel manager who they based Basil Fawlty on. And apparently John Cleese and Connie Booth decided to stay there just because they were intrigued by how horrible he was to his guests. One thing I found kind of funny about this set is each disc says something different. Fatty owls, watery fowls, farty towels. Basically, it's a joke, an ongoing joke in the series, as the sign keeps getting changed outside the hotel. And here we have Mr. Bean, the whole bean. It contains all 14 episodes on 3 discs. Mr. Bean is probably Rowan Atkinson's most iconic character, although I personally prefer Blackadder, but Mr. Bean is also really good as well. Unlike Blackadder, Mr. Bean isn't anywhere near as witty. It's much more of a physical comedy, like a slapstick. There was also an animated series to Mr. Bean, but I don't actually own that. I've seen it all, except for the new one that they actually rebooted it this year, I think, but I haven't seen that. But I did see all of it that was on Netflix at the time I watched it. Here we have the best bits of Mr. Bean, and this is just basically a clip show. Wikipedia actually includes it as the 15th episode in some places and doesn't mention it at all in others, so... But it is just a clip show. I mean, obviously the wraparound is the only part that's actually new. The rest of it is just sketches from the show previously. Apparently this exact version of the set is out of print, though, so I'm glad I got it pretty cheap. And here we have Bean the movie and Johnny English. I don't know about you guys, but my first exposure to Mr. Bean was watching Bean the movie on a VHS tape at my grandma's house when I was a kid. It's a funny movie, and although it does use a couple of different sketches from the show, most of it is pretty original. As far as Johnny English goes, it's also a pretty funny movie. I don't like it as much as Mr. Bean or Blackadder, but it's still pretty funny. Here we have Mr. Bean's Holiday, the second Mr. Bean movie. And you know something? This is the most common DVD in existence, I think, because I have like 8 copies. This one in particular isn't even open. But the main reason I say that is because, you know, I get it for Christmas. I've got it like a couple years in a row. Me or my brothers or other people in my family have gotten it or given it or will win it in some sort of raffle or some shit. We have a bunch of them. I don't know why there's so many. I mean, I like this movie, but I don't think any person should own more than 4 copies, and I definitely own more than 4. Here we have the best of Not the 9 O'Clock News, which is a sketch comedy starring Rowan Atkinson and these other people as well. To be honest, I was most interested in it because of Rowan Atkinson. Apparently this is where he got his start. Now, I'm not a fan of best of sets. It pisses me off when things don't get released in their entirety. But unfortunately, this is all of Not the 9 O'Clock News that has been released officially. However, I will say this. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of best of sets, I definitely think they are better than nothing. As for the show itself, the comedy in this I don't like as much as either Monty Python, Blackadder, or Mr. Bean. For the most part, I mean, there are some genuinely good moments. I feel that the comedy in this show is actually really hit or miss. There's a lot of really, really funny parts, and then there's a lot of parts that are just kind of meh. And here we have Rowan Atkinson live. It's a stage performance of Rowan Atkinson, where he performs a variety of sketches. In case you can't tell by this point in the video, I really do like Rowan Atkinson. But yeah, I definitely recommend picking this up if you haven't seen it. It's pretty funny. Here we have a bit of Fry and Laurie, the entire collection. This was a sketch comedy with Stephen Fry and Hugh Laurie, and it was actually the first sketch comedy I watched from start to finish. There's each of the seasons. There was 4 seasons altogether. It's a really funny show if you haven't seen it. If you like Monty Python, and if you also like Not the 9 O'Clock News, this is another really great sketch comedy. I think this is better than Not the 9 O'Clock News, but definitely not as good as Monty Python. Here we have Jeeves and Wooster, the complete series. This is also starring Stephen Fry and Hugh Laurie. To be perfectly honest, I only watched about 4 episodes of this show. Now, to be fair, I've enjoyed what I've seen, however, it's a show that it's really hard to sit down and just continuously watch. First off, this isn't strictly a comedy, it's more of a period drama, I think. But there are comedic elements to it, so I don't know whether or not it's supposed to be a comedy or a drama. I think it's a little bit of both, which normally I love dramedy. However, some of the pacing on this show just isn't quite my thing. You know, one thing I really I don't like is how Hugh Laurie's shifted a lot towards drama and more serious roles. I always liked him better as a comedian. But this is still a pretty entertaining series when I do actually watch it. It's really, you have to really be in the mood for it. Here we have The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the original series. This actually started as a radio show and also got changed into a book and got a TV series and eventually a movie. I also have the movie somewhere, but I'm not quite sure where it is at the moment. It's probably in one of those zip-up cases. I probably showed it in a previous video. So I don't know where Disc 2 is, so Morrowind's actually in here at the moment. But luckily, all the episodes are on Disc 1, so yeah, there's that. This is a really good series. If you really like, if you like Red Dwarf, you'll definitely like this. It's another sci-fi comedy. I also have the Ultimate Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy book, which contains all 5 novels. And now for the Cornetto trilogy, rather. Starting with Shaun of the Dead, one of the best zombie movies ever, especially since it's a comedy, and I don't really like zombie movies that much other than this one. Although I also do like 28 Days Later. Yeah, the Cornetto trilogy is actually really entertaining if you haven't seen it. Shaun of the Dead is the first. There's the disc. Then after Shaun of the Dead came Hot Fuzz, which each of the Cornetto trilogy is essentially a different type of movie with comedy thrown in. I got this one on a 3-disc set that's pretty cool when you pull it out. Starts out like this, and then you fold it, and it goes like that, and then you fold this down, and then you fold that down. So, it's pretty cool. Here we have The World's End, actually my favorite of the Cornetto trilogy. Originally, I liked Shaun of the Dead better, but I really do like The World's End after I saw it even more. So I definitely think The World's End is the best part of the Cornetto trilogy. It's an alien invasion, and these guys go into a bar on a pub crawl, or 12 different bars, rather, on a pub crawl getting really drunk. Here we have Paul, which is also starring Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, who are in every one of the Cornetto trilogy. They also actually helped write it as well. Here we have Run, Fat Boy, Run, another Simon Pegg movie. Again, I also really like Simon Pegg as an actor. There's the back of the case. And there's the disc, and as you can see, this is an old Blockbuster case. Here we have the original Bedazzled, starring Peter Cook and Dudley Moore. Here's the back of the case. I've never actually watched this one yet, but I do intend to. I have seen Peter Cook in, the first series of Blackadder, as well as in The Princess Bride. But yeah, I definitely do intend to watch it, so... Okay, so the battery died while I was recording that last bit, and while I was waiting for it to charge, I did actually watch the movie. It was a pretty good movie. I enjoyed it. Obviously, I don't think it's as good as Monty Python or, some of the other things I've shown, but it's still a really good movie for what it is. And it's a lot better than that remake, I think. So yeah, I think that about does it for this collection video. I hope you guys have enjoyed it, and if you did, just let me know. If you didn't, also go ahead and let me know. Whatever, the whole spiel. But other than that, you guys have a great day.